Hey guys, I'm back again. I am going to play with my cards because I didn't in the last video. Sometimes it just comes through me, so that was the message for the last one. What do we want to play with today? Start with some animals. Divine guidance for those in love with love. Masculine. I'm getting masculine. The hawk. Horus. Alright, this is for the masculine, I believe. Watchful, all-seeing, messenger of divinity. The sharp eyes of the hawk watch out every move. This keen-eyed bird has the ability to see every little detail as well as the bigger picture. When this card appears, fate has its eyes on you and the winds are shifting. It is said that the hawk carries news upon its wings and is sent from divinity itself to deliver it. The message should not be taken lightly. Though it may seem small or insignificant, it will eventually redirect your course. It's Horus himself. When in balance, sees, clearly intuitive. When out of balance, sees too much, suspicious. Well, there's a fine balance there. Perspective shift. Interesting, there's been a hell of a lot of synchronistic about shifting, shifting gears, where we're shifting, but also winds are changing. And I keep getting this, that old wives' tale about be careful of that vase you're pulling, because if the winds change, it'll be frozen in place. Whatever that kind of saying is, that it keeps coming back. And I'm kind of getting pay attention to the energy you're bringing, because the winds of change are coming. And what do you want to bring to that winds of change? Because whatever you're bringing to it when those winds of change come can affect how you adapt to those winds of change, to how you react to those winds of change, to how you embody those winds of change, to how you feel about them. And I'm just getting that they could drastically choose which path you're going to take. Evolution or being left behind, or being a couple of steps behind. Are you dragging your feet, or are you leading the change? Are you a leader or a follower? Not so, kind of what I'm getting at is really at any moment being aware of what you're bringing to the table, like what you're meeting the outside vibes with affects how those vibes, those energies, like what power those energies have, how you will use those energies. Will those energies become your tool, or will those energies make you their tool? Like, are you going to work with those energies, or are those energies going to do a number on you? And I think that is kind of what, like, I was kind of getting with, you know, like what face you're bringing, what face you're making as these winds of change are coming. Like, it's kind of like that saying of start it how you want to finish it, as in, how do you want to be? And stay solid within that, like choose who you are. How do you want to see your life? How do you want to live your life? And like, if you are that, whatever comes at you, you can use rather than be pummeled by or be fucked over by, you know, because you are in your power. So you get to decide how you use them rather than be used by them. Or it's kind of like that thing, like, will you take action or will you have a reaction? So I think it's that kind of, or, you know, like if you've got a low vibe, you're going to make those energies low when they come in. But if you've got a high vibe, you'll make the energies coming in like higher, you know, like what you bring to the table affects what is coming in. So you get, you know, by what you have, it does affect your environment. So I think that's what I'm kind of getting at. So I'm looking at, I kind of going to the gods and titans, and the Viking is like drawing my attention, and he's got, you know, this wolf mask on and the shield, like he's going into battle. And I'm kind of, I guess that's what it kind of, it's like, are you prepared with your strength, with your protection, with your shield, with your with the spirit of power within you, like the spirit of the wolf? Have you got that strength of the warrior facing life, not to fuck things up, but to be prepared for whatever comes, to hold your own? And to hold your own is that you know what your own is. So, you know, it's that self-sovereignty thing. If you're in your own power, you're ready for whatever comes your way. Like, you know who you are, and you know you can handle anything. Alright, so the hawk, vision, seer, Taurus. I know a few come up here. Crow, gazelle, and the fox. Fox is so cute. So clever. Smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long term, and their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox energy helps us stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, magical, ingenious, teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity. To bring into balance, partnership, connection. I mean, that's either, partnership, or it could be, coming into that ownership of self, partnership, in order to bring that inner balance, inner security. Gazelle. Gazelle is heightened awareness and ability, vulnerable. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty emits sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper-aware of their surroundings, bordering on hyper-vigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they've spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, graceful, perceptive, artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, racing mind. I'm kind of getting that was the masculine, and these are the feminine energies now. So the gazelle, to bring into balance, yin yoga, cozy home, good food. The bounty. Alright, the crow. Spiritually strong, creative, watchful. The crow has long been a symbol of magic. A crow personality is drawn to the supernatural and has a gift for seeing the unseen, knowing the unknown. It is said that the crow holds within its mind's eye the three realities, past, present, and future. Crow energy is potent and should only be tapped into when the mind is clear. Those with crow tendencies must balance their lives with a healthy diet, joyful friends, and regular self-study. I'm kind of getting a personal bit of a nudge from spirit there. Drink more water. Watch your diet. The temple of the body. Nourishment in all forms, not just food. Pleasure. The factor. When in balance, psychic, strong, clear. When out of balance, ungrounded, hypersensitive. To bring into balance, daily meditation practice. Okay. What else? Yeah, I'll do mine. this one for the guys. Right. So we've got kind of the yin yang kind of. Right. So these are my cards, and these are some of the yin yang visuals that I did. So this one is like, it's the yin yang mixing, but it's also the globe. Yeah, and like on the back you can kind of see a more kind of realistic kind of bubble at how our energies kind of, you know, attract and start mixing, creating a little love bubble, and, you know, magnetize to each other and creating this spin and the electromagnetic force field around that reaction, that chemical reaction that, you know, that starts going on. Like we do kind of, when we connect, we do create this love bubble around us. You know, and we start to spin our love juices around there and create our own little world. You know, if we're in harmony, and choose to merge. So this one is kind of like the sands of time, and like one of those weather, getting, you know, those kind of barometer or whatever, where they've got, is it like the mercury floating in the water or whatever, and depending on the, oh, it's the pressure, right? There's the whatever that thing's called, the pressure meter. So like with this, I'm kind of getting that we're starting to connect here, like the pressure is equal to the point where it is spinning, and, you know, like almost like our fluids are now close enough of equal pressure and stuff that, you know when magnets are drawn, or it's like that when two droplets of water get close enough together, the surface resistance, pressure, whatever that is, that, you know, when they're close enough, they come together. And that's what I'm getting, like with this, is that I'm kind of getting the timing, the pressure, the weather is all coming together, that is now equal, and the fluid, the resistance has lessened to the point that their fluids are now, and they're about to go join and make their love bubble, you know. So that's what I get out of that. Yeah, so when two become one, yeah, kind of, you know, it's like it's when, like a supernova type reaction, you know, when like the heat that's left, or, you know, when a chemical reaction occurs, like when two become one, and then it sets off this kind of reaction, chemical reaction. I guess that's how you create your bubble, but it also creates a freaking ton of heat at the same time. explosion. I get some flame, internal flames going on. Seems, I'm getting like the soul is like literally doing a twirl there. It's like the macabre spinning. Like it is almost actually on the inside, you know how it's kind of like a twirl there, like the snake is actually rising, and you know, it's that kind of, which sets off this other, you know, reaction of your, like, you know, everything starts happening. Kind of, you become linked with all your bits. You know, and then the, you know, like the flow starts, like your energy flow just starts. Alright, cool. So this for the ladies. So I'm kind of getting like a New Orleans type vibe. It's a Mardi Gras they have in New Orleans, like one of those big festivals they have in New Orleans. Of you know what though, like I literally was reading yesterday, in one of these tarot decks, that there were the seven sisters were actually seven sisters back in New Orleans, which is so weird because like I completely relate the seven sisters to the Pleiades, but then there was these like voodoo priestesses in New Orleans called the Seven Sisters, and like that's what immediately kind of gelled with that, but also a bit Kali Ma, but then also Ishtar and Inanna, because you know that painted face. Like I've done some research on like Ishtar and that, and like that her vibe spread to kind of like everywhere and became personified with different names and everything, and it was also kind of merged with the idea of Lilith. So Lilith and Ishtar and that kind of spread into that kind of Latin-y, islandy, voodoo kind of vibe of the free feminine. It got twisted at some point that, you know, she would come and take your children or blah blah blah, but that's just another way that the whole empowered feminine got fucked over, from an empowered feminine that was revered, you know, back in Mesopotamia, like Ishtar times, and over the time, like that type of feminine power slowly got shat on, and it turned into a whole like Lilith and, you know, Eve ruining the Garden of Eden, and a woman that is intelligent and is empowered and has a choice, was degraded and, you know, cast out and all that. Anyway, so that's what I'm kind of getting with this, which is, I'm getting this is us re-establishing the celebration of that vibe of Ishtar, of Lilith, of the empowered, strong, feminine, that we can be empowered, we can be intelligent, we can love ourselves as women in a heartfelt, freaking highly inspired, contribute to society, unified, in unity, harmonious. It is just a self-sovereign woman, and that is beautiful. It is not something to be scared of or to run away from. It's not something to be ashamed of. It is not something that guys should be intimidated by. And I think that's where a lot of the shit that got poured on them came from. You know, it's just the ego or whatever. And, you know, maybe that came on both sides. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just saying that, you know, more and more women are choosing remembering their inner Ishtar, their inner guiding star, their inner self-sovereignty, and the beautiful power, the heart-centered, unifying power that the feminine has, and to not be ashamed of it, to not be scared of it, to not be, to not feel guilty of embracing your own beauty. Because beauty is like love, beauty is the divine, like, so embracing your own, like, we all have the right to embrace our own beauty and our own love, and, you know, love for self. That does not, you know, if you're doing it in your own self-empowering, beautiful way, like for you, that is only a good thing. And anyone else's, like, negative opinion of that is on them. That's their journey. Like, we've reached a point in our evolution, as a species, like, we've come full circle. Like, no one has the right to cast a stone for no fucking reason. To cast a stone in general, like, you know, like, we all are aware now of the tactics around us. If someone's ego gets bruised because you are a self-empowered person, that just is, you know, that's obvious as fuck, right? And that's just showing their inability to realize their own self-sovereign beauty within. Like, it's just them attacking because you're triggering them. So yeah, I mean, this whole remembering and realizing your own inner beauty and self-empowerment as a feminine being, in balance, a balanced feminine being, is a journey, you know, just like guys going through their own journey. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, it's seriously coming full circle from back in the, you know, priestess, Isis, Ishtar, freaking Hathor, days of Hatshepsut, Cleopatra, you know, all these beautiful freaking divine Sekhmet, Bastet. There is freaking, you know, Athena, Artemis, freaking a million priestess goddesses of beauty, power, devotion, connection, freaking love, intelligence. It is not just fucking beauty and I don't know what. Like, these goddesses and priestesses back in the day, they were all revered for the wisdom and insight and knowledge and connection, and they were all seen for what they bring to the community, right? To the energy that we all inhabit. And that was a beautiful thing. On the other side of those beautiful, intelligent, divine creatures of those feminine priestesses and goddesses was the divine masculine, the beautiful, intelligent, strong, wise, courageous men. Together, they built a bubble that was fucking amazing. Like, that was why they were so revered and looked up to, and how they inspired the crowds, and this is what is coming back. So, you know, full circle for the feminine, same for the guys. You know, like, we are reigniting our godlike high priest, high priestess selves. We are remembering that is within us, and the magic that we can actually bring to the table to just spew into the community to actually make a fucking difference to everyone around us, and to live a life that is meaningful, that is inspiring, that is full of love and connection, and to literally be bringing it down and sharing that from the Most High. Like, we are re-establishing connections with the Most High and bring it down, and we are like the conduits. And, you know, these connections, the divine masculine, divine feminine, but all of us that are remembering this and bringing it into our lives and saying, yes, I am up for this. I am up for this challenge. I am freaking, yeah, like, I'm just looking at the Viking cards again, like, yeah, like, with love, I've got my shield, I've got my freaking battle song ready to go, but it's not for fighting, it is for inspiring, it is for bringing love and wisdom and becoming a muse for everyone. Not to be above them, but to live a life of love and connection, and just like by what is that one? Just like to show people what is possible type thing, you know what I mean? That love it is everything. It does change your world. Love, like pure love and connection with yourself and nature, and the nature of love and that connection, and just anyway, I'm so passionate about it. It's just like ridiculous. But yeah, it's that is the power. That is the power, and that is why, you know, the Olympians and you know, all the goddesses and gods were just, you know, why all the stories are there, why people are constantly inspired by them, to look up to them, because they embodied, or whether they were real or a metaphor, personification of this connection that is possible, and the magic that is held within it, that we should all inspire to, because it is like, that is like your alchemy, that is like your literal freaking, it does feel like a supernatural power when you experience that and go through the, like, this awakening and everything. When you find that love, you know, and so we got some big cats, Black Panther energy, pure divine feminine inner power, but it's also with a crown of jewels, but it's also Lyran energy, with this of you know, royalty, but just that feminine power of the cat and the Lyrans. It's the tribe, and it's protecting the tribe, like pure lioness energy. And this is like what Bastet and Sekhmet, you know, kind of why I've always been so drawn to them, because it also holds a sexuality, a sensuality, owning your sensuality, but not being not as a tool. It is just it's a part of you, and it should be treasured and honored by you, like, and that your sensuality brings such a fucking mighty, powerful force to your being, like just for you to embody that as a woman. And that is where, like, this power of the feminine comes from. It is not a tool to be abused. It is an essence to be, like, nourished, to nourish you, to fuel. It is a fuel to your system, and it's a fuel to the masculine system. And that is the beauty of our reaction, like our interaction with each other, that a feminine in her true chemical reaction, in her true beingness and her true sensuality, and expressing herself authentically in a balanced way, how that, like, sparks the masculine's inner fire. And they do it to us as well. Like, a masculine on fire will set the feminine on fire. The feminine fire will set the masculine on fire. And that is like, that is magic. Like, I mean, you know, the power of those feelings, but it is not just sexual. Like, the power of that sexual is intense, but if we can see it as the beauty it is, without thinking it has to be only sexual, like, it's like a muse, right? We are each other's muses, and a muse just inspires. It's not like the muse is a purely sexual thing. Like, we need to more think of each other as muses across the board. A woman can be a muse for another woman, but and a man can be a muse for another man. And that may take the idea of that being inspired and fired up by anyone has to be a sexual experience, because that's not, we're very confused when it comes to that a lot of the time, I think, because being mused by someone activates your sacral and your pleasure centers, and you know, like, we generally then kind of attach those things to that person, but it is more like, what is it like? Like, we can be each other's muses, you know. Take sex, like your female, male, out of the equation altogether. The beauty and the empowerment of any individual can freaking ignite you in a million different ways, which will activate you, will turn you on, will put some sparks to your fire, will throw some logs on your fire, can completely set you ablaze. But to take that blessing as it is, and not, like, we certainly should try and get away from the idea that being inspired or mused by or ignited by anyone, like, passionately, that passion is just sexual. There is so many different aspects to passion, and passionate expression, and passionate feeling. Yeah. You know, and that in itself, like, I mean, it's hard because, like, we've been kind of repressed for so long as a species, as a society, that this kind of thing of having all these strong emotions is like, we feel like it's a bad thing. Strong emotions of the bedroom. So we're very kind of still confused about feelings and sensations, and how to express them, and what it means, and feeling shame about feeling, and or, you know, like, that it's wrong, or, you know, we still get really confused, like wires crossed type thing. But you know, maybe if we start talking more about you know, the interplay between feminine, masculine, and, or even just being inspired by people, and how that affects us, just like honest, authentic emotions, so we can work it out for ourselves, like figure it out, without shaming, blaming, thinking that it only has to be one way. Like, developing new terms, developing new techniques, or new, I don't know, just, I guess, ways of understanding, learning, because I guess a lot of us are still at the stage where we need to learn what the sensations we're feeling are, learn how we're being affected by people, because you know how, like, a lot of, I was literally thinking about this earlier, like, I mean, in my life I've had a lot of guys react quite terribly negatively towards me, but I think that's because I instigated some kind of reaction within them, like a passionate reaction, but because that, for them, they had no outlet for that, rather than it be a good thing that they were inspired or sparked by me, they turned it against me and attacked me. And that's what a lot of women have been dealing with for a very long time as well. And that is just a confusion, like I guess that's energy with no outlet, just exploding in its opposite form, from desire or inspiration into condemnation, or like rage, or being inspired by and then degrading what you've been inspired by because you don't know what to do with that inspiration. And that's a lot of what's going on still. Like we do need to talk and understand that more, and really start teaching everyone. Because in general, women and relationships in general, like the interplay between masculine and feminine, people in general have been over-sexualized. Like, any interaction with anyone becomes a sexual thing. Like if you know what I mean, like, anyway. We got Joan of Arc coming out. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that, the whole thing, like a little bit further, because I think we're kind of all still in the unknown when it comes to that sort of thing. But like, I just get this idea. I've got it, like, almost this picture in my head that, like, the priestesses and that back in the day, this is kind of what there was, this kind of aspect to it of, it's almost like a medicine. Panacea, like a tonic, energetic tonic to activate someone's energy, like an energetic Viagra. But in not a sexual way, in a respectful, sensual way. And that energy that was medicated into, let's say, like, for example, men go to strip clubs to watch beautiful women. I'm going to say same thing kind of happened back then, but it was completely the opposite vibe. Like, women weren't overly, it wasn't a sexual thing. It was just like, it was, since you kind of get what I'm saying, like how we can actually provide each other a medicine just by the interplay being witness to. The divine in another human activates it in you. It is like, like a candle lights other candles. Like one flame can keep lighting other candles. And that's what it's like. And it can actually be a beautiful gift, I've still got freaking like women's pain body freaking stuff coming up, because we're so indoctrinated about how guys view women so like poorly, like when it comes to this sort of thing. But the basis of the experience of a man witnessing a woman's beauty can and does inspire him, but it is about how he uses that inspiration that makes him a divine masculine or a toxic masculine. And obviously where that feminine's energy is as well. So it is the interplay, right? What I was saying is that I believe that we can provide a muse-like medicine for each other in a beautiful, respectful, sensual, non-sexual way, which is like an energetic gift that anyone can give to anyone. Anyone can receive. And I think that is the interplay of our energetic systems from one person to another. And I guess that comes back to with what are we bringing to the table in every interaction that we have. Will you shit on the energetic exchange, or will you fan the flames of inspiration, museness, medicine type? How high can we get this flame for the good of everyone? That I'm not approaching every woman in... I'm not even going to get into that, because you know what I'm kind of getting at. It's like your our attitudes towards each other as beautiful, energetic individuals, unique, not to take, not to own, not to have. It's to experience as equals. like, consent. But it's not even that. It's just like, less sexual vibe between everyone. Women, men, less competition. Less, there's so much like with the competition ruins things. It's either like we're either in competition or like every interaction is a competition or what is that? Like we kind of think that is this person trying to get one over me, or is this person trying to get on me? It's like that's kind of the vibe that everyone's going to every interaction with, which just leaves us in a really fucked up situation that no one wins, that no one brings their best to any interaction, and no one gets anything from any interaction if that's what they're bringing to every interaction. So, a lot of it, back in the heyday, it was like trust that people are coming to the interaction with the absolute best intentions of an exchange of, I guess, to learn, to receive and to give, to just to see each other as absolute equals, but also individuals that can exchange and gift a wisdom or an energetic boost or inspiration, which it like both parties are agreeing to. Like it's almost like you come together, we're going like let's create a fire, or I have to think about it more, but I think there's this, kind of thing there that we definitely over-sexualize all, like, our personal interactions. And people in general. And it leaves us in a state of, kind of confusion, or locked into a certain pattern that we're not taking things any further, where the energies possibly could go evolving past that. Like we kind of need to work out a way that masculine and feminine can evolve past that kind of dynamic. Be interesting. Like I'll leave it there. It's been an hour. Anyway. Yeah. I'll talk about it some more, I guess. I'm pretty passionate about it, because I know that, when we do come together and start working together, the steam rises. But things can really start moving and evolve, and the power that we have when we come together, and it is dynamic, and it's, like I said, it's not just sexual, but that sensual, energetic shift, that exchange, a reaction, fire. That can really make some big changes, I think, and help a lot of people. Yeah. To be continued, I think.